The church behind me, St James's in Piccadilly, is where the great Mary Beale is buried. Her studio is just down the road from here in Pall. Hers is a remarkable story of triumph against the odds. And it starts not here, but in Suffolk, 70 miles away. Mary Craddock was born in Barrow, near Bury St Edmunds, in 1633 to a middle-class Puritan family with tight commercial links to the City of London. Her father was a Fellow of Gonville and Caius College, Cambridge, as well as a member of the Company of Painters-Stainers, from whom she is likely to have received inspiration and instruction as an artist. Around the age of 20, Mary fell in love with an ambitious young amateur painter called Charles Beal, whose father owned property in London. The couple took residence in Covent Garden, the home of many professional artists, and an ideal place for Mary to begin her practice as a portrait painter. This was extremely unusual for a woman at the time. Within 2 years, she was being mentioned in artistic publications. In his late 20s, Charles obtained a prestigious job at the Patents Office, which oversaw the approval and preferment of court and government positions. The couple moved to Hind Court off Fleet Street, an area which brimmed with traders, lawyers, and the intelligentsia of the city, many of whom became the Beals' clients and friends. Charles lost his position at the Patents Office around 1664, and with the outbreak of plague in London, they moved to Albrook Farmhouse in the county of Hampshire. The house still stands today. During this period, Mary turned to writing and composed a progressive discourse on friendship, emphasizing equality between husband and wife. By the time they returned to London, Mary was clearly the main provider, and Charles had switched roles to become her manager and assistant. Not only were they a mutually devoted couple, but also a supremely successful partnership. By this date, they were supporting 2 children, Bartholomew and Charles. Mary used her family as artistic models for what Charles described as study and improvement. Some of these domestic portraits are amongst the most affecting done in Britain at the period. For at least 30 years, Charles kept detailed accounts of the studio activities, and remarkably, many of these survive, making Mary Beale one of the best documented artists at work in Britain in the 17th century. From these accounts, you also get a palpable sense of the connection between Charles and Mary. There's a lovely line here, which starts, "My dearest heart." My dearest heart was his term of endearment for Mary. "My dearest heart finished the face of our most worthy friend, Dr. Tillotson." This wasn't just a business partnership, but a partnership of love. The couple moved to Pall Mall in around 1670, a royal centre and artery to the City of London. It was there that Mary's business reached its apogee, and she succeeded in building a celebrated reputation and practice. This included not only portraits of aristocrats, but also middle-class intelligentsia and professionals. She also made a particular specialisation of senior clergymen and bishops. She also produced small replicas of the works of the court painter Sir Peter Lely, with whom she appears to have had a close acquaintance. She even had the rare privilege of being allowed to attend the master's studio to watch him at work. So this is Mary Beale's copy of a work by Sir Peter Lely of Charles II. And there are very few artists who can work like Mary on a large scale, but also a small one like this. And it's got detail, atmosphere, a strong sense of characterisation as well. And one can imagine that Peter Lely would have been really delighted by the quality of this type of replication of his work. What I find particularly good is the quality of the face. Mary Beale has brought a little bit of her own characterisation to Charles II. It's expressive and sprightly. It's difficult to get an exact sense of what Pall Mall was like in Mary Beale's day. Obviously, St James's Palace across the road was here, and we know that a couple of leading courtesans resided round the corner, Moll Davis and the royal favourite, Nell Gwyn. It was a new street full of luxuries and exotic goods. There was an aroma of freshly brewed coffee in the air from the colonies. And where, you ask yourself, did Mary Beale reside? Follow me. And believe it or not, all the evidence would suggest that it was here, where our gallery is. We had no idea when we moved in 7 years ago. And it was a family business in the true sense of the term, and it all took place just above me. We don't have any visual records of the interior, but this portrayal of an English portrait painter's studio of the period evokes the fusion of domestic and professional that clients might well have encountered. Their two sons, Bartholomew and Charles, actively contributed by assisting in painting draperies and other decorative elements. And accounts show that they were properly paid too for assisting Mary in coping with the demand for her commissioned portraits. Mary even welcomed a couple of women pupils whom she allowed to watch her at work. It's not just the memorial behind me by which we remember Mary Beale, but that great body of work covering a range of portrait categories, and also the fact that she transcended rigid gender protocol at the period to succeed so conspicuously. The history of Mary Beale is the history of 17th century British art.